down their New Year resolutions. Well, Richmond Kwame Frimpong is an author and a financial analyst. He joins me via Zoom to help you plan your year. So, Richmond, many thanks for joining me on News Tonight. Let me first of all find out from you. So, a lot of people doing their big time spendings, especially close to the end of the year. But the year 2021 is just around the corner and they should plan financially. You are an author who writes on these. What advice do you normally give to people ahead of a new year?
Well, thank you and good evening to our viewers. I mean, generally, I want to say that the new year is not very new. I mean, nothing really is going to change tomorrow. And actually, as I speak, Australia, China, and Korea are already in the new year. What must change is you, the person watching us. Your attitudes, your mindset, your behaviors, and your daily routine must change. If these change, then 2021 is going to be better for you. If they don't change, then nothing would really change for you. For those of us looking at finance, I would say that 2021 should be a year where we look at building financial immunity. If 2020 has not taught us anything at all, it has taught us that financial emergencies are real. And for anyone, if you want to master your finances such that in case there are challenges like we envisage in 2020, you should be able to build an emergency account that holds a minimum of 6 months of your regular income, so that if there is any disruption in your incomes, you can take care of yourself for at least 6 months without having to depend on any third party.
But Richmond, COVID-19 has been a major bane for a lot of people. For such people, most of them are even home, or others are now struggling to revive. I mean, with the onset of business activities picking up. How does such a person combine this with paying school fees? Because we know definitely the schools are reopening, maybe come January. How does a person juxtapose all these and keep money stashed in the accounts, at least to take care of the person for the next 6 months?
Right, so this is what you do. Building immunity is not negotiable. Look at your expenses in two ways going into the new year. They are statutory expenses and they are discretionary expenses. Statutory expenses are expenses that are having their demand being inelastic. In simple terms, you cannot do away with them. If you don't spend, you can't survive. So they are like utilities, they are like medicine, they are like water, they are like fuel and things like that. You have to spend on them. Those ones, ring fence them. But there are others that are discretionary. You can do with them. You can still live without spending on those. And they are not must-haves. Those ones, delay them to a later date. And then save the differences between these two, since maybe you may still be at home. Remember also that financial immunity is not a function of salary. So you don't need to be earning salary. As long as you still spend, just do well to make sure you segregate your discretionary expenses from your must-do expenses, which are the regular ones, so that you will be able to put some of these expenses aside for a very difficult day. Let me say that 2021 is not just any new year, any new day that is all of a sudden going to turn out to be good. It's probably going to be worse. And so you have to brace yourself up, even if you are not earning a salary. As long as you spend, decide whether you are going to have a discretionary expense or you are going to have a regular expense. And when you do, you can have some extras to take care of yourself in case there are emergencies.
It's amazing. Prior to my engaging you mentioned that would you want me to speak on finance or you would want me to speak in general terms? I mean, for somebody who is not keen on the financial but is looking at resolutions for the year 2021, what general advice would you give?
Basically, I would say that be specific about what you want. Decide. See the new year as like you are making a journey to maybe a place. If you decided to travel from Accra to, say, Nairobi, you would get your visa, you get your ticket, you get your bags and things ready, and you know why you are moving to that country or that city. Same way, 2021 is a journey, 12 months, and you must be deliberate about what you want to do every single day of the month. And to be deliberate, you don't just keep them on your mind. Pick a book and write at the back 2021. Divide your life into about 7 different parts. finance, academics, social, relationship, whatever that matters to you, health and fitness and all. And begin to write the things you expect to receive and become at the end of the year. And then commit yourself to what you must now do daily to make those things happen. When you do, try and put these resolutions or these dynamics in a place you can visibly see, and engage yourself every day to do something little that will push you closer to that goal. When you do this, your daily routine will take you into that future you're envisaging, and you definitely get there. Even if you don't achieve it 100%, you'll be better off than where you start from, beginning from tonight.
Richmond Frimpong, thank you very much. And this is good advice for my colleague Banini. He needs that book and probably put every bit of that advice together and keep it at a place where you would always see it. But Richmond is a financial consultant. He's been engaging in financial literacy. Tonight, I also want you to know that he is an author who's written a lot on New Year resolutions. Thank you very much for joining us. When we come back, we'll bring you a